So what's apparent to me, and I've been working in social media and digital marketing for longer than I should probably say, but over 20 years. I co-founded that email marketing company in 1998, and that was permission marketing based on Seth Godin's book called Permission Marketing that launched the whole industry. Cost and Contact launched here, and my company Email Vision, which is now called Smart Focus, launched in Europe, doing permission-based email marketing. So I've seen a lot of trends, but we're really in a brave new world where everything is important. And I was looking at like, what are the new trends for 2022? And, looking at 10, 15 articles, all with lists of things, I picked up stuff, and there are 50 things here. Now, some of these things are in bigger fonts than others. Maybe I believe these are a little bit more important, but actually they're all important. We're in an era where all of this is all important. And why is that? We have trillions of pieces of content online, and how do you stand out? And so, this agency is going to tell you, well, you got to do like the organic SEO, and this other agency is going to be like, we're going to hack your growth, and another agency is going to go, it's all about the experience, it's the metaverse, the new thing, but it's all important. You have to be kind of doing all of it. Now, over lunch, I had some great conversations. And so we're going to turn this into an unconference. Now, you know about user-generated content. This is user-generated conference where you participate in the conference, because actually each one of you works in the field, either on the agency side or the client side, and you know about marketing and you know what's happening in your world. So over lunch, I had conversations with people. I didn't get to meet all of you, and my apologies if I'm missing some people. But I spoke with Michael from I believe Del Rey, and he is into conversational marketing using artificial intelligence for chatbots, especially through text messaging. And this improves. This is part of the sales process, and it improves sales conversions and getting people on the phone. And it's also customer service. I spoke with Victor, who is into native advertising. His agency has 1,000 people around the world, and they're really experts in native advertising. Landon and the boys from Utah, I believe you have a full-service digital agency, and so I'd love to hear about what kind of trends you're seeing with your clients. I didn't get to talk to Shane, but I looked up the company, Funware, and Funware is all about mobile optimization and also gamification. So gamification is super important, has been a trend for a while. I'd love to know how that is showing up these days. Spoke to Uchenna, hope I got your name right, Uchenna, and Uchenna is into sustainability, and he has an app that helps companies create social signals on social media when the company is doing some kind of sustainable action in the world, ecological or social activity, and it then distributes it through the social media channels. If I understood correctly, I didn't have much time to talk. We have Randy, who's still in the room, growth marketing, and that was a great presentation. Thank you. Nancy with happiness, but it's not just happiness. It's about storytelling. It's about user experience. It's about the creator economy and influencers. All of that was in her presentation. Of course, we have both Andrew and Aaron who run this event, and they're all into event creation, event management, and that's so important. I myself am a lot into buyer's journey and buyer personas. Marcio is no longer in the room, but I love that stuff. Amy, I'm not sure if Amy is already in the room. She's going to be talking about metrics and analytics. Amy is here. And what else? And my business partner, Ville, is here. Ville is from Finland. He looks a lot more Finnish than I do because he is tall and I'm not, so all Finns are tall. Ville is also into experience and media production and business strategy and customer journeys. And we have also, I spoke with Josh, but Josh, I didn't get what you do. You're in Cooper City, but I didn't get what your company does. Josh? niche insurance companies. So from the client side, how do you sell insurance and what are the trends there? So I'd like to open it up. We have the catch box. Don't be shy. I just gave a shout out to a number of people, but if I didn't and you'd like to say something about what you're seeing in marketing these days, we're all kind of like, we're turning this page. It's post-COVID. And so this is like turning a page to a brave new world. What is going on and what are you seeing in your world? Um, so who'd like to talk? Michael.
So I'm in the digital marketing industry with call centers, lead generation, performance marketing, and software. Some of the things I'm seeing is as far as carriers kind of tightening down on types of traffic that convert, right? So the incentivized traffic, coupons, things like that, the affiliate traffic. They're trying to put limitations all the way down to a contact standpoint from cell phones for text messages and calls and voicemail drops getting delivered. With that being said, it kind of filters all the way back up to the publishers, lead generators, down to whoever we're trying to convert that sale. So let's say if whatever you're doing in terms of whatever product and service you're trying to sell, you be very targeted on search, and that's why we're all here to learn on improving our performance marketing efforts here. But like I said, they're changing to be more focused, more tactical in terms of how you approach each specific vertical. So the age of like big media companies, big digital media companies that have operate across all different types of verticals that aren't very targeted with a let's say a brand approach, are going to not last very long in the industry. So whatever you're doing, just try to figure out a specific niche and kind of strategy and go after your customers. That's from a communication standpoint, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. I think salespeople find it so frustrating because no one is picking up their phones anymore.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. They're losing trust in some of the touch points of communications, which is phone calls, voicemail drops, text messages. So AT&T and Verizon are trying to gain that trust back into the consumers, but the marketers are the ones that get the brunt of that, right? Because there's people that abuse a lot of these systems, and the marketers have to change their, like I said, their strategies and their tactics to navigate that.
Absolutely. So this is kind of like that missing mile, that last mile, because as a marketer, what are you doing? You're figuring out your buyer personas, and then you're going to have some kind of campaign online, social media campaign, paid or organic posts, and that's going to bring them to a landing page. On the landing page, you're going to ask for their email address and their phone number, and then the phone number goes to the salesperson, and of course, no one picks up. So this is kind of like that last mile which bridges your landing page with that person's phone by prepping that person with timely text content and also artificial intelligence. So it's really conversational and is responding to the clients' and customers' needs. So I think that's really smart. And it is a strong trend. Okay, what else thank you, Michael. What else are you seeing?
It's Indira again. Hi, guys. It's related to what you have here, the trends, right? And we were talking about this with the group I sat with at lunch. And you guys, as marketers, how many of you are being reactive versus proactive? Because I feel like with a lot of different colleagues in different industry verticals, we're all kind of going through that pain point. Because trends, like someone said earlier, I believe it was the doctor. I'm sorry, I hate public speaking, but
Nancy, yeah,
Dr. Nancy. Right now we're here, and there's a new trend. There's something coming up, and it's such a pain point with digital. And again, I feel like we're trying to be reactive and like scram. Oh my gosh, we got to change the strategy, or ABM is hot right now, but maybe the organization is not built for ABM. Maybe we have some puzzle pieces, and maybe in 2-3 years we can get to that point. but we don't have all the tools and necessary to get to that. Like that, it's hard to overcome, you know. That's all I was gonna say. Yeah. And that's, and I think it's a common pain point for a lot of us.
Absolutely. There's so much going on, and you really have to keep on top of everything that's happening, especially when you have things that become harder to understand. It's like a layer of complexity when you have like blockchain and NFTs, and how does crypto figure into it or not? And are you going to do NFTs plus crypto or not? Blockchain, and how's the metaverse part of it? And DeFi, and does DeFi relate to marketing or not? And then you're also trying to run your campaigns and do your paid ads and your organic content, buyer personas. Like, how are you supposed to keep track of all of this as a marketing professional and figure out where to put your resources and how to build for the future? Is Meta going to be important or not? Is Metaverse? When is the right time to look into that? That's extremely costly, of course, to start to have strategies in that when the CEO has pressure to have quarterly results. But this is coming pretty quickly, right? So it's a complex world out there. So yeah, absolutely. What else are we seeing?
Work?
And you're Shane from Funware.
Yeah, I'm Shane Hunter from Funware, but hope everybody's having a good day.
Can you talk closer to the mic, please?
Yeah, sure. I feel like I'm eating this thing. All right, here we go. A couple things I've noticed, just tell you a little bit about my background. So I have 17 plus years of advertising experience working for Fortune 500 companies such as Clear Channel Outdoor, that's billboards, Cox Media Group, iHeartMedia, also Pandora, SiriusXM. And I tell you this because now I work for Funware. So Funware is a company that's got a software base, but I work on the media side realm. And the things that I'm seeing is traditional media spend from just regular terrestrial advertising year after year has moved to the digital world. And I know that that's kind of layman's terms in the sense that we all agree that, but I can tell you at least my clientele nationally, their spend dollars are continuously shaving off of traditional TV, billboards, and so on. And what I do and facilitate is basically I work through a DSP that our company has, and I reach out to other SSPs. That's a demand side platform that has access to reach out to a supply side platform, and partnering with like the Pandoras, the Spotify's from an audio standpoint, the Fox television, CBS, ESPN from a smart TV or a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick standpoint. The moral of what I'm trying to say is I have the ability now to the company that I work with, which I didn't have through traditional media, to really trim the fat as per who we're reaching, when we're reaching them based on their daily activities. So it's no longer the day of delivering an ad and hoping someone sees your ad. It's more delivering based on their habits, when they watch TV, when they listen, tracking their IP address, having that technology, and then utilizing specific audience segments, which didn't exist, say 5 years ago, to basically say, okay, if we're dealing with, I think you gentlemen said you sell cars over there, you're trying to look for people that specifically had an interest in buying a car in the last, 3 months. I'm from Boston. I see people laughing. Got the Boston accent. But we have the ability to do that now. So the trend that I'm basically saying is ad dollars have completely shifted into specific niche digital advertising. And I think it all works. I know, for example, at least my company, what I facilitate, the portfolio that I work with. And I think it's going to continue. And I think as technology advances and we have the ability to, unfortunately, track ourselves through mobile phones, that's the way that this trend is going to continue. And I would harness that.
Thank you, Shane. And do you do work based on buyer personas or based on data, like big data marketing, like data-driven marketing?
So hopefully I'm understanding your question right. When you say bio personas, what are you specifically saying?
Well, when I say buyer personas, is figuring out who your customers are, like what types of customers do you have, creating their profile, and then like really understanding them and then sending messages to them. Correct. And data-driven is more like just looking at all the data and then figuring out your segments from the data.
So it's a little of both. So everything we do at Funware is technologically data driven because we have 60 plus digital partners that are data partners and 60 plus that are actually publishers and networks itself. So what I would specifically do is, I've been networking with some of you individuals in here. I would find out, well, what is your hurt? What's your need? What are you trying to accomplish? I would go into your profile. Who are you trying to reach geographically? Is there certain allocated income and so on? Then I would take that data that you're talking about to support it and facilitate it through different platforms such as networks, like I mentioned, connected TV, or through video. Video's big. I know Nancy was mentioning video. Video's huge for us. There's a lot of interaction in regard to that, and drives a lot of return on investment. Basic consumers interacting, but everything is either B2C or B2B. It just really depends on your market objective, what you're trying to accomplish, and me understanding your business to my best capabilities so that I can facilitate the need to create a proposal to deliver your ROI that you're looking for.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Who else is seeing something? Uchenna.
Hi, I'm Uchenna. I am working on a social recognition app. It's called Humanitarian. Basically allows people to showcase social actions or sustainability actions from brands, people, and nonprofits, and then get rewarded by peers. So big trend that I'm seeing happening in this, especially with technology spaces, it's been a challenge with privacy issues as far as sharing your information, and people are leaning more towards, hey, it's about what I care about. What Nancy said, she wasn't kidding. That's a big trend. It's about to go bigger. And I notice a lot of people want to make sure, mostly Gen Z, starting Gen Z moving on, as far as millennials as well. They are the ones that are spending a lot of money. The future of workplace is in their hands, and they are looking for companies that care about what they care about. The values they share is definitely important. They're also spending money on brands that also want to show, some kind of sustainability actions in the world. Social media has opened that opportunity for people to personalize content, but moving to the next stage, as you can see, an NFT is about showing your uniqueness, right? And metaverse is also about plug in, plug out whenever you want, not giving the social media information on data. They don't own it anymore. So we are doing, SEO marketing, and we're just letting all these companies control the information, but they basically are gathering all this information so they can upgrade their products and sell more, and you make less. So as marketers, you're constantly chasing the tail, trying to figure out what's the next thing. But this whole cause marketing is very personal, and if you are able to reach people and what they care about, they will be loyal for a long time. So that's a big trend that's going on.
Absolutely. It seems like COVID really helped to start to wake people up, because before it was like climate change. Okay, is it real or not? What's happening? But now it's like, not only do we have like climate disasters, and like in some places it's hotter than it's ever been. Like I think in India a couple of weeks ago, it was like 140 degrees or 160 degrees. Like, how do you even understand a temperature like that? That's like a temperature that, I love the sauna. I'm a Finn. I go into saunas. It's hot in the sauna, but I mean, that sounds like even hotter than what I experienced in the sauna, right? So climate disasters, and then we have health crises like the pandemic, and then we have like social emergencies going on, and we have wars, and people are like, what is happening in this world? Is this the world that I want to live in? And so now let me become more conscious about how I'm living my life, and let me purchase products from companies that are actually making a difference in the world. And people will pay a premium for those products to feel like they are contributing themselves to help the world. So I feel like it's absolutely right. Sustainability is very important. But even financial markets are paying attention to it. And the SEC is looking at that, and will start punishing companies that are greenwashing, that are saying they're doing things, but are not, and really like cracking down on that.
Sorry. So the greenwashing is a big one, because a lot of people are just making this overnight change. Say, hey, we're doing this, right? Put out advertisements, but behind the scene, they're not. And this is a challenge people have always dealt with politicians, saying they're going to do stuff, but behind the scene, they're not. So the application I'm working on is, you're going to share what you're doing. We're going to track it. we're also going to reward you, right? So we can see this also going into companies where people work for an employer, and this is what the employer is doing, and there's this engagement between employee and employer to make sure that they're on the right track. So
Absolutely.
it definitely is something marketers should start looking into as well, saying if you are going into a corporate environment, you can also target that person. What are you guys passionate about? What are your employees passionate about? Because the employees are the ones that's going to drive the change as far as the company's value, make sure it's aligned.
Absolutely. So in this era of the Great Resignation, where the
Okay.
whole recruitment
One
market
of the
is
things-
upside down, this is a competitive advantage. If your company is sustainable and you're doing sustainable things, it's going to be easier to hire people, especially the younger generations who are looking to work for companies like that.
And one of the things I actually forgot to mention in my presentation is that we don't have to do it alone. Some of the biggest corporations out there are partnering together to create real meaningful change. And so a Target, CVS, and Walmart, you would not think would be partnering together, but they are. And they are coming up with solutions for plastic bags in their stores. And they have invested a lot of research to think about how can we stop people from using plastic bags. And that problem got even worse during the pandemic because of COVID. Everyone stopped bringing their own bags to the stores, right? And so now they're going to have a borrow the bag program. And so when you're thinking about how can you make a difference with your digital media, you don't necessarily have to do it alone. Maybe there's another organization out there that you can partner with. And if you can do that, you're going to do it at an even bigger level, and that's really going to make your campaign hit more people. And people are going to want to buy from you because you're making a difference in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nancy. I think we have time for one more. So over here, can we throw a catch box? Yes. Thank you, Miranda.
So this kind of ties into
And
Nancy.
introduce yourself.
Oh yes, Victor, and with MGID, we're a native platform, B2C advertising, and this kind of ties into your presentation, Nancy. Social media can be used to distract, and we all know we have busy enough going on in our day. We can use that distraction, TikTok, YouTube, what have you. Although, and to your point, Nancy, social media can also use to educate you on with real business challenges. I remember during the height of the pandemic, a lot of our B2C advertisers who were selling wellness products like lose weight, build muscle, dye your hair, look better. If you know, during COVID, everybody just let that go for the most part. So all of those campaigns were going offline. Agencies were laying off people. Some agencies actually went out of business. And I remember I was having my window replaced on my car, listening to a random podcast because I was looking to distract myself. And it was one of I think it was a 12th or 10th hire at Facebook. He's now like a multi-billionaire. He's a VC. And I was just listening to a random business podcast. He was talking. And one of the questions that was posed to him, he said, what are the businesses that are going to survive the pandemic? And he said, cash is king. He says, businesses with the most cash will survive. So I'm thinking, how's that going to help me? And I kept racking my brain. And then it occurred to me, insurance companies, they almost never want to pay out. They want to hold on to the cash. And they have a ton of it. So I went to my boss and I said, what do you think about if I start going after insurance companies to bring them on board? He was like, sure, give it a shot. And sure enough, still working there. It turned out to be one of our biggest verticals. And to your point, Nancy, you can use social media to address like work challenges or business challenges. You just, in the middle of distraction or fun content, you can mix in some business podcasts in there, and you get some great ideas that you never know how it can help you out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, as marketers, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to regulate the nervous system of your customers because you are in charge of the communication channels. You are present on those. You're also paying to be in front of eyeballs. And so, like Nancy said, be mindful of your customers' experience, of their happiness, of how you're talking to them, what you're trying to get them to do, how are you manipulating them, and is your company involved in creating a sustainable future for the planet and for humanity? And if you do those things, and if you understand the responsibility that you have as marketers, you will help create a better planet. So thank you everybody for participating in this. So nice to hear about how you're seeing the world and what you're seeing happening. And let's all work together to make a better future. Thank you.